Before life, before oceans, before even a single breath echoed across this planet, Earth was a world unlike anything we know today. Imagine standing here, where the ground beneath your feet is not rock, but an endless ocean of molten stone. Every second, unimaginable forces reshape the newborn planet. Nothing remains still, everything is being forged. Above the chaos, the sky offers no mercy. Thousands of ancient worlds are still crashing into Earth.
To any future observer, this world would appear completely lifeless. The first chapter of every living thing has already begun. Millions of years passed. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the young planet began to cool. Across the endless sea of magma, Earth's atmosphere was unlike anything we breathe today. Oxygen did not yet exist. Then, from deep within the atmosphere, something extraordinary began. Water vapor condensed. The first clouds gathered.
At first, only scattered drops fell. But over millions of years, the rain never stopped. Those endless rains would transform a world of fire into a world of oceans, creating the stage where life could one day begin. And then, something unprecedented happened in Earth's history. The planet began to gather its first permanent oceans. These early seas were not calm or blue. They were hot, acidic, and filled with chemicals from deep within the Earth. Deep beneath these turbulent waters, the Earth was quietly preparing something extraordinary. Within these deep ocean environments, simple molecules began to collide, bond, and transform under extreme heat and pressure. Over time, these reactions produced something remarkable: organic molecules, the building blocks of life itself. But the true mystery was not the creation of molecules. It was how they began to organize into systems that could sustain themselves. Somewhere in the darkness of the ancient ocean, the first primitive compartments began to form. Not yet life, but something dangerously close to it. For millions of years, chemistry alone ruled the oceans, until one extraordinary property began to emerge: replication. In rare moments, certain molecular chains began to copy fragments of themselves, imperfectly, but repeatedly. And with every imperfect copy, variation appeared. And variation is the beginning of change. Within the chaos of the ancient ocean, certain molecular systems began to persist longer than others, not by design, but by chance. At some point, replication was no longer just a chemical accident. It became a repeating process. Inside rare compartments, molecular networks began to sustain themselves longer than the environment around them. For the first time, these systems began to interact, competing, sharing energy, and surviving differently. And in that survival, something unprecedented appeared: a system that could maintain itself against chaos. After countless cycles of trial and error, a new kind of system began to emerge, one that was no longer just chemistry. These systems could now persist through time, not perfectly, but long enough to be repeated. Inside these rare compartments, something resembling internal regulation began to appear. And for the first time in Earth's history, a structure began to persist not just by chance, but by stability. Some systems began to produce more stable copies of themselves, passing patterns forward through time. The environment did not favor the strongest, only the most stable. And for the first time, Earth hosted systems that could evolve. After millions of cycles of selection, the boundary was finally crossed. And for the first time, reproduction was no longer an accident. It was a process. Now, life had a direction, not guided by design, but by survival itself. And then, something unmistakable appeared. Not just a system that survived, but one that truly lived. From a single fragile beginning, life began to spread, adapt, and persist across the ancient oceans. And on a planet once ruled by fire, chaos, and poison, the first spark of life had endured.